Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to another episode where we are going to be talking about kingdom insights today, and particularly we're going to be talking about a question that I received recently. I never thought that I would need to address this question specifically, but it's amazing the amount of people who have asked this question. And what is this question? So, I thought that, maybe church people would ask me this question and, Christians would ask this question. But actually, several of the people who asked me this question, are not even practicing Christians, but they have a concern and they have a question in their minds about what's going on. And so I decided, what I need to do? I need to address it specifically so that we can talk about this one question that is dominating the minds of a lot of people. So you are asking, what is that question? Well, here's the question. The question is the COVID vaccine the mark of the beast, or is the COVID vaccine related to the mark of the beast, which is cited in the book of Revelation? To put this question in context, we have to actually look at the book of Revelation and see what it says about the mark of the beast. So, in answering the question as to whether the COVID vaccine is either the mark of the beast or somehow related to the mark of the beast, let's look at what the Bible actually says. A lot of people ask this question and they talk about the mark of the beast and they've never even read the Bible. They've just heard it. Some people have read it, and it's amazing to me that people who could have read it would equate it with COVID-19. But, I understand people have different perspectives. The book of Revelation doesn't spell it out in detail to where we can understand all of the implications. But what is revealed in the book of Revelation can give us a distinction. It can let us know, is this related? Is it unrelated? Does it match up? Does it line up? So let's begin by taking a look at the book of Revelation. In Revelation chapter 13, it says this: "Then I saw another beast come out of the earth, and he had 2 horns like a lamb and spoke like a dragon." So this is talking about this beast who will give the mark, or who will require the mark. And he exercises all authority of the first beast in his presence. Now, one of the things that we have to understand about the mark of the beast is that there are actually 2 beasts in the book of Revelation. The first beast is one who comes out of the sea, and the second beast is one who comes from the earth. So that's the first thing that we need to clarify about the mark of the beast. First of all, there are 2 beasts. Now, let's read it further. It says, "He exercises all authority of the first beast in his presence, and causes the earth and those who dwell in it to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed." So the first beast was wounded, and then that wound was healed, and the second beast admonishes the people of the earth to worship the first beast. So let's go on a little bit further. And then it says, "This beast performs great signs, so that he even makes fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men. And he deceives those who dwell on the earth by those signs which he was granted to do in the sight of the beast, telling those who dwell on the earth to make an image of the beast who was wounded by the sword and who lived. He was granted power to give breath to the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause as many as would not worship the image of the beast to be killed." So now it goes on further to explain that there are 2 beasts, and there's some transactions or activities that take place surrounding these beasts. And so now we're trying to connect this to COVID-19. So first of all, it says that one beast comes out of the earth, another beast comes out of the sea. The first beast is wounded and is miraculously healed from those wounds. And the second beast deceives people and encourages and admonishes people to worship the first beast. And it says that he causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and slave, to receive a mark on their right hand and their foreheads. And now we get to the specifics of the mark of the beast. So not only are there two beasts, and not only is one wounded and healed, but it tells us where this mark is supposed to be. It says, he causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and slave, to receive a mark on their right hand or their forehead. So this mark is supposed to be placed on the right hand or the forehead. It's very specific. And it says, and that no one may buy or sell except one who has the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. Here is wisdom. Let him who has understand calculate the number of the beast. So it says you have to have the mark or the number. If you read this carefully, it's suggesting that this mark, which may be the number 666 or some other mark, but it says on the right hand or the forehead, okay? It says, it is the number of a man. His number is 666. So, after reading this scripture, I am not sure how people could have connected it to COVID-19. I'm actually amazed that people would make a connection between the two. You know, I understand that some of the opinion that the COVID-19 can be serving as a precursor that prepares the world for the eventual implementation of the system that forces everyone to comply with or submit to the mark of the beast. I understand that people can have that perspective, but to imply that COVID-19 is the mark of the beast or is somehow directly connected to the mark of the beast, I would say, from reading the Bible, it's a complete stretch. There's hardly any way that you can possibly connect it. I know people have tried. Here are several reasons that the connection between the mark of the beast and COVID may be problematic. First of all, before the mark of the beast is implemented, a number of things take place. So we have the first beast coming out of the sea, the second beast coming out of the earth. The first beast is wounded, the second beast comes along. They perform signs and wonders and miracles and cause people to be amazed. And after all of this, then they begin to implement this system of you have to have the mark of the beast before you worship or do anything. Now, the last time I checked, I haven't seen the first beast come out of the sea or the second beast come out of the earth. So if these beasts do not show up, then we cannot expect the mark of the beast. The Bible is very clear. The Bible said these are the things that will take place before the mark of the beast is implemented. The first beast out of the sea, the second beast out of the earth, signs and wonders that deceive people, performing miracles that cause them to be attracted to the beast. So again, it's very difficult to put the connection together. Another important thing is that it says you cannot buy or sell. Remember this, the mark of the beast will not be a secret that is sneaked upon people. So, you know, people who say the COVID-19 is the mark of the beast, what they're essentially saying is that there's a mysterious plan and it's using the COVID-19 vaccine to sneak the mark of the beast into the world. The mark of the beast is going to be very obvious. It's not something that is snuck in. It's not something that you are unaware of what's happening. It tells you that the beast, after performing these signs and deceiving the world, will now implement their system and tells you right from the beginning, you cannot buy or sell, you cannot do anything without this mark being on your right hand and your forehead. And the mark is 666, or some relation to the number 666. Now, I can understand people having suspicions about COVID-19, about the COVID-19 vaccine. I can understand people having suspicions about the pharmaceutical industry. I can understand people having suspicions about a conspiracy or a master plan to deceive the world and to get us to take something that we shouldn't take, and so on. I can understand these things. You know, history is replete with a number of incidences over many, many years where people have been deceived by the pharmaceutical industry. You have had instances of drugs that have proven to be detrimental, that were placed into circulation and people have taken. So I understand the suspicion. I understand also that there have been experiments. We know about the Tuskegee Institute, or the Tuskegee experiment, where black people were unknowingly injected with syphilis by the government and pharmaceutical entities to run a test. So they used humans as guinea pigs. And that's what some people are suggesting that's happening now with the COVID-19 vaccine. But we are talking about it as it specifically relates to the mark of the beast. I'm also going to talk about it in general, but we're going to focus in on its relation to the mark of the beast. So there are many other examples of bad drugs, of drugs that don't work, drugs that have detrimental effect, that have been placed into circulation by pharmaceutical companies and others who are working together, and even sanctioned by governments and so on. So we know that these things have happened before, and we know that drugs have been recalled, pharmaceutical companies have been sued because drugs haven't worked, they've had a negative effect. So we understand the suspicion. However, connecting it to the mark of the beast is what we are focusing on. Before I get to the direct connections, let's talk a little bit more about the COVID-19 vaccine itself, and where did it come from, and how did it originate, and whether it's good or bad, so on. So the big question that we have to answer is, first of all, where did COVID-19 come from? To be honest with you, I don't know. I have heard a number of theories, I've heard a number of suspicions, but I really don't know. The thing that seems to be emerging as the most plausible explanation right now is that it leaked from a lab in Wuhan. I've seen a number of scientific presentations, I've heard doctors and scientists talk about it, and they said the makeup of the virus, the gain of function status of the virus. Gain of function means its ability to, elevate in terms of its impact and to evade the natural human immune system. They believe that this virus was somehow enhanced in a lab and leaked out. And it appears that because it leaked very close to the Wuhan lab, virology lab, that somehow there's a connection. And that's what it seems to be at the moment from what I've seen. I don't know. I'm not a scientist, I can't tell for sure. But that's what it seems like happened. So if it accidentally leaked into the human population, then I can't see this being something that was intentionally implemented, because it has had so many negative ramifications around the world, and it's difficult to understand who could have organized it to benefit. Some people have said to me, this is a plandemic, there's a plan. Well, I would like to see who the planners are and what the plan is. So far, all of the evidence that I've seen presented to me by proponents of it being an organized plan related to the mark of the beast or even unrelated to the mark of the beast. I haven't seen a cohesive argument of who the planners are and what the plan is. Everything I've heard, the plan keeps changing. Who the planners are keeps changing. At one point in time, they said it was 5G. It was related to the phone companies, and this whole virus thing was a massive scheme. So we have heard a number of plans, and none of them to date that I've seen have made any sense to me. Okay? However, we know that the COVID-19 virus is here. So I don't see a direct organized plan where it's been thrust on the human race. What appears to me to have happened is that this virus was accidentally leaked into the human population. It caused tremendous damage. And so now what is happening is that scientists, doctors, a number of others have been scrambling to find a solution. And that's where the vaccines come in. As I've said before many times on these presentations, the principle of vaccine is a very sound principle, and it has saved many lives over the years. So there's no question about the viability, the importance, the efficacy of a vaccine. The question when it comes to the COVID-19 vaccine is whether or not there's something nefarious about it, or there's something so experimental about it that it will result in disaster. Now, I must say that I'm sure these are questions that no one can answer right now, because the COVID vaccines have been with us for a very short time, and we really don't know. In our ministry here, we have a number of doctors and scientists, and I tell you, there's no consensus. There are some doctors who I've spoken to who said, look, millions of scientists around the world, millions of doctors around the world have examined this. There have been trials, there have been tests. They feel very comfortable that this is the best solution for the time being. So the doctors that I've spoke to who are comfortable with the vaccine, they believe that it's almost impossible for the world, the scientific community, the medical community, to be totally deceived about this whole process because of the tests that are required for vaccines. Obviously, in this case, the vaccines that have come out in a much shorter period of time, and they've used a different technology. But they are a group of doctors and scientists who are very comfortable. I shouldn't say very comfortable. They're comfortable that this is the best option for right now. On the other hand, I've also talked to doctors and scientists who have suspicions. So for example, one of my medical friends, one of my doctor friends, have said to me, well, I am not taking the vaccine because I don't know what the long-term effects are. The new technology that's being used has potential to be effective, but I am unsure, and so I'm gonna wait. So you have these two different camps. You have, one camp that's saying, okay, this is the best that we have. We are not sure about it. It's only approved as an experimental drug or experimental vaccine. Doesn't have full FDA approval because of the timelines, because it's not been in human circulation. It's been tested for a relatively short period of time. So we know that the COVID-19 vaccine is experimental, it's not fully FDA approved. However, because of the damage that COVID-19 has done, it's, according to some doctors, the best doctors and scientists, the best that is available to us right now. And according to those who are proponents, the tests have proved its efficacy and have shown that it can have a positive effect in curbing or preventing illness and also the disease itself, and the virus itself, and also illness related to the virus, especially severe illness. So on one hand, you have some doctors who are comfortable with it. On the other hand, you have some doctors and medical scientists who are not comfortable. However, to date, I haven't seen an alternative to the vaccine. So basically, some persons have presented an alternative. They said, well, hydroxychloroquine, ivermectin, or whatever the name of the compound is. Some people have presented various herbs. But from my estimation, if any of these things worked dramatically, they would have been in mass circulation and they would have, people would have been using them. There have been reports, and I have had personal friends. I have a friend in Florida who said that he had COVID-19 and that the hydroxychloroquine actually had a positive impact in terms of his outcome. So, there are these speculations or speculative drugs or compounds that they have said, or herbs or whatever it is that they have said can have a positive effect on COVID-19. The problem is that no study that I've seen, no experiment that I've seen so far has proven conclusively beyond a reasonable doubt that this one thing is the silver bullet and it'll make COVID-19 go away. So we are basically stuck with the vaccine in the absence of something else that has been proven and that is readily available, and you can take it and everything will go away. So we don't know the long-term side effects. We don't know the outcome. We don't even have a guarantee of the efficacy of the vaccine. But the only thing we can say is so far, it's proven in certain environments to be beneficial. Israel has used the vaccine. They have had positive results. The results have, in a very recent report, been reduced with the new variants. So we have these variants. So again, the vaccine is proven effective in some circumstances according to scientific research, according to the reports that we have received from the CDC and others. So there have been positive reports, but now we are facing, with some of the variants, a question about the efficacy of the vaccine. Now, what has been reported, or what has been presented, is that even if there are problems with the vaccine now, there are booster shots that can be available to account for the variants. So all of these things are out there. I cannot tell you definitively one way or the other what the answer is. The only thing I can say is everybody needs to do their research, pray about it, and make your own decision. That's been my perspective all along, because we really don't know. Now, let's get back to the mark of the beast. Before I get to the mark of the beast, let me just say something about COVID-19 itself. Some persons have tried to diminish the impact of COVID-19. Some people have called it a hoax. Some people have said, it's only, 0.0% of people who are impacted. But I think when statistics like this are quoted, it's really doing a disservice. COVID-19 is a very serious virus. It has wreaked havoc on many people. How do I know that? I have seen persons, I have talked to persons who've experienced COVID-19 and have had tremendous issues, not only in the short term, but long term. So COVID-19 is serious. I've had a number of people I know, or friends I know, who have had people who died because of COVID-19, and not just older people, younger people. And the percentage of people who are falling ill or dying as a result of COVID-19 when you look at it in general, it's a very, very small segment of the population. But when you look at older people and then people with comorbidities, it's not 0.1%, it's not 0.2%. In some cases, it is as high as 25%. So it is a serious concern, especially the persons who are older and who have comorbidities. So I never want to make light of COVID-19. COVID-19 is a serious virus that has wreaked havoc across the world, and many people are dying. Some people have questioned the numbers. Again, I am not a scientist or a statistician. If somebody has numbers that can be proven otherwise, I guess you can go ahead and present those numbers. But for the time being, we have to look at what has been presented to us from the scientific community, because there's no other community that's presenting information to us. Now, is the information skewed? I don't know. What we know for a fact is we know that people have died. We have seen people have died. People have died here in the Bahamas. People have died in the U.S. People have died in Africa. Everywhere you go in the world, a lot of people have died. So COVID-19 is serious. So now let's get back to the mark of the beast. We know that COVID-19 is a serious virus and it has had tremendous negative impact. And, you know, it is possible that if someone wanted to introduce something to the population, you could use an event like this to introduce something through a vaccine. You know, I mean, if there was a nefarious plan afoot, you know, someone could have taken advantage of the situation to introduce something to us. However, when we look at what the mark of the beast is all about, when we look at the book of Revelation, when we look at what it says specifically, there are things that are supposed to happen before the mark of the beast is introduced. And actually, the beast is present when the mark of the beast is introduced. So COVID-19 vaccine cannot be the mark of the beast because there's no beast. There's no beast that came out of the sea. There's no beast that came out of the earth. There have been no signs and wonders. You know, people have associated the beast with certain figures, you know, certain current people who are alive. Obviously, these people are not the beast because none of them came out of the sea or came out of the earth and displayed these signs. So I encourage you to read the book of Revelation chapter 13, and I'm going to go through it one more time, and then we're going to wrap up. So Revelation chapter 13 says, "Then I saw another beast coming out of the earth, and he had 2 horns like a lamb and spoke like a dragon." Have you seen this person yet? I haven't seen that person yet. It says, "And he exercises all authority of the first beast." So there are actually 2 beasts that showed up. I haven't seen the first beast or the second beast. It says, "And causes the earth and those who dwell in the earth to worship the first beast." Have you seen somebody who has caused the world or encouraged the world to worship the first beast? I haven't seen the first beast or the second beast, so I can't say that this is the mark of the beast. It says, "Whose deadly wound was healed." Have you seen a beast who have come out of the sea whose deadly wound was healed? Well, if you haven't seen them, then we can't attribute it. It says, "He performs great signs so that he even makes fire come from heaven on the earth in the sight of men." Have we seen this happen yet? Has anybody showed up who's brought fire from heaven? And it says, "And he deceives those who dwell on the earth by signs which he has granted to do in the sight of the beast." So the second beast is demonstrating signs, and the first beast is demonstrating signs in the earth, deceiving people. So we haven't seen this power granted. We haven't seen these beasts show up. We haven't seen these signs. So how can we say it's the mark of the beast? It says he was granted power to give breath to the image of the beast. So not only are there a beast, there's an image of the beast, and that the image of the beast should both speak and cause as many as would not worship the image of the beast to be killed. So when it's time for the mark of the beast, you are going to be required to worship the image of the beast. And if you don't worship the image of the beast will speak and will cause people who don't worship the beast to be killed. It says, he causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and slave, to receive a mark on their right hand and their forehead, and that no one may buy or sell except for one who has the mark of the beast. The last time I checked, the COVID-19 vaccine is issued on your shoulder. I don't know if it's issued in other parts of the body, but this doesn't qualify for the mark of the beast, according to, if you follow what it says in Revelation. It says, here is wisdom, let him who has understanding calculate the number of the beast, for it is the number of man, his number is 666. So there you have it. The book of Revelation explains the timeline, the activities, what is supposed to happen before the mark of the beast. None of these seem to have any correlation or relation to the COVID-19 vaccine. So those of you who've asked me the question, some of you have asked me to please explain it from the book of Revelation so that persons who have these questions may understand. And so that's what I've done. I've just given you information from the book of Revelation, from what is happening in the earth, and then you can make your own conclusion. So once again, thank you for watching Kingdom Insights, where we bring to you information that explains the kingdom of God in the earth, explains the activities that are happening in the earth today, and relate them to your experience, and for you to make your judgments, your decisions about the vaccine or anything else. So once again, thank you very much for watching. God bless you.